Hello everyone and welcome back to Cities by Steven. You're talking to Steven. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. Get that bell notification on too so you don't miss out on a video. Welcome back to the channel where last time we were here we did a cool stadium district with some Pride themes involved as well. And it was really nice. I really enjoyed how it turned out. I think it turned out great. We got our first professional sports teams in here too, which is fantastic. In today's episode, we are going to be doing a couple things. We're going to be improving the rail network a little bit, and we're going to be getting an Amazon fulfillment center, or, you know, a knockoff brand of that. And I'm really excited to bring that to you today. We're going to also kind of tweak some services if we need, but let's dive into it. So here is what we did last time. It's our stadium district. It is called Pride Promenade after the baseball team. Which is the Port Roberts Pride, because we have the Lions in the background, which is two mountains that are actually in Vancouver in real life, the same city that we're basing this theme of the city off of. And we also have it set up for Pride Month with a painted street as well. But this is also a big transit hub. We have some hotels in here, right here, and right here. This one is maxed out on value. This one is basically maxed out on value. We also have a metro down in here, and yeah, I think this turned out really, really nice. It's a cool little area, all pedestrianized and real nice. We set ourselves up really nicely for the expansion of the mass transit as well. But what are we doing today? Well, I'm looking at the city as a whole, and we're really missing one big feature in our rail network, and that is we have our main rail line running through here, which is awesome. But then we have our secondary rail line running up this way. But that is, it's good. It goes all the way out there. But there's a big area of the city that's missing rail connections. And that happens to be where we have our industry out over here. So I'm thinking of branching off the rail, bringing it into this area. We'll be able to get a cargo station then out this way. And then we'll connect it out all the way over here to this rail, to this little kind of area out over here where we have an old factory, but we'll have to figure out a way to connect it to our current rail network, which is on the other side of the highway. So it's a little tricky, but we're going to be able to figure it out. This is where it's going to go, and then we'll be able to continue that rail into the farming area of the future, which we haven't done yet. So this is going to set ourselves up real nicely for the next little while. But what else we're going to be doing today? Well, we're going to be adding in, quote, Amazon fulfillment center. It's really just the post office distribution center, but we're going to soup it up a little bit. We're going to be putting it out over here close to our cargo hub, our current one right now. But seeing as it's right beside the highway, that's a really good spot for it. That's where they typically are in real life. It's also a great little area for it to be because the trucks can go in any which way because we're right off of our Parklow roundabout hybrid interchange. So yeah, it's going to be real good. And then if we have time, we'll do some services as well, because there's a lot of services that are lacking in this city. So I hope this one kind of sets us up for a bunch of videos in the future. So let's dive into it. And this is where we're going to be starting. So we have kind of a hub already here. This is from the original map. These broken rails go out all the way over to here, which is really, really nice. We haven't really done much out this way on this side of the map. So I was thinking, since we have our connection right here, and if we're looking at the trajectory of it, if we give ourselves enough space, we should be able to swing out from about this junction here out in this direction with a single rail track. We're not going to do a double rail track this time. We can always add it on in the future if we need, but we're going to swing it out this way, and then we'll just try and figure out if we're going to go under or over this one. But no matter what we're doing, I'm probably going to be doing the same thing on this side where the highway is, and then we'll try and kind of approach it in this corner here, and then we'll swing out this way, where we're going to be running into a situation where we have our future water treatment plant out this way. So we need to make sure we avoid it, so we're going to go in this direction. We're going to have to cross two roads, so we'll see what happens there. But then we'll swing by down this way towards this old industry hub, where we need to figure out how we're going to connect it up in this area. So what we're probably going to do is we're probably going to have to elevate the highway here for a little while, or swing it out or something like that. But we run into an issue with the historical building, so we'll have to figure out a couple ways to work around that, and then also watch the topography here and make sure that our the curves aren't too strong. But I'm thinking this one might be like an old spur line that they've kind of connected up in a few areas, because we have our industry zone out this way. But it'll definitely improve the connections on the city because we have rail traffic coming from this way. If they want to leave the city on this way or in this area, they have to go through the city already and then come all the way out over to here before they turn in this direction. So long ways to go. So I think we can bypass a lot of the cargo traffic this way, and I'm sure in real life they would bypass a lot of the cargo traffic away from the city, not kind of having the trains run from this side through the city. They'd probably take the bypass route, right? So that's what we're going to be doing. Let's find a little spot here, and then we have a bit of a crossover right here. So I think that's a really good spot to kind of get that. So if we have cargo or trains coming from this side, we need to make sure that there is enough space. So if we do connect this one down the line, we need to make sure there's at least one train length on this side, and they actually can't get to this side, so we need to make sure that they can do that, and then we'll branch it off into the top of the screen. All right, so I think this is going to work out great. It's a good angle now, and I feel like that curve is a lot less daunting now. It's a lot more concaved, and I think it's going to work out great. So again, we might have some problems down the line, but we'll have to have a dedicated rail video if we decide to pretty much run on trains out here, because there's going to be a lot of implications throughout the entire network if we decide to re-hook up these rails. So we'll figure out that out down the line, but this makes sense for a historical spur line, maybe closer to like 1940s, 50s kind of era. But I think we're coming at this at a good angle along the lake area as well. But now we got to figure out how we're going to do this, right? So are we going to sink these roads? It's probably the best idea. I would imagine that I think we said that this one was actually a historical road, so that means we need to make the train go around that, but we can clearly sink it though, as long as it stays in the same kind of general right of way. So we'll have to work that out, but if we do raise the train up a little bit, we'll have less to sink along the highway here, and that'll the way we kind of do that will definitely play into when we do this interchange next episode. So yeah, let's try and find a good spot, see where this is gonna end up here. I think we're good on the topography with it all. So yeah, it's pretty flat. So let's see, looking at the trees too, let's maybe approach this maybe at about this angle here. Yeah, that seems good. Looks like we're gonna end up in a good spot if we go out that way, so we'll click that in. All right, so we should probably raise the rail a little bit, and then we'll also sink the road a little bit. We'll kind of share the burden. Oh, look at that. There's a node right there. That's fantastic. So I think that should work. Let's select the rail here, and then we'll go into bridge. I think that's fun to do that. Bridge, straight, and yeah, I think this is going to work out great, actually. That's the longest bridge piece we can get. And then should we continue at that height? Probably. Should we continue as a bridge though? I don't know. I think maybe we can go back to ground level and kind of create like a bit of a viaduct. No, that's not the word. Where we kind of have like a raised bed for the rails. I'm gonna get it to about here, I think. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, and then now we can go back to bridge here, and then we'll go straight. Again, we'll try and get it so that it lines up perfectly with the highway, so that the pillar is in the middle of the highway here. All right, so this is looking real good. There's a couple trees in the way. We gotta make sure that there's no trees on the tracks. That would be dangerous, wouldn't it? So now we need to slope this. So we'll go from the height that we've established right here, and we'll slope it pretty much down almost all the way to here. But I think we'll probably only really need to go to about here to get our sub 2% grade. Yeah, that's pretty good then. Let's bring it out one more. That is a fantastic level there. Let's just actually level it from all the way from the point that we chose right over there to this corner here, just to make sure that it is all as flat as can be. And then same thing with this curve, and then same thing from here all the way to this junction there. Make sure everything is all as smooth as it can be, because it is rails after all. And this is all the same height. Very cool. We can obviously change this back to an elevated piece if we need to, but I think it'd be cool to kind of tunnel a road or something underneath it and keep some of the earthwork. But yeah, I really like this over the highway. We need to then sink the highway a little bit so that the cars don't hit the bridge, right? So let's lower it a little bit. Let's actually get this dump truck right there. Perfect. And then we can see how high we need it to get. Well, I guess the dump truck is still going. Let's see. Dump truck, perfect. Yeah, that's a great height. We have a good clearance there, actually. So I think that's pretty good. And then we can slope the highways. All right, so now that we're over here, we can now connect this all up. So we're gonna go back down to ground level, then we're gonna go to freeform, and let's put our topography on. So it's gonna be a bit tricky to see in the trees, but it looks like it's pretty much all flat till about here. Then we have this hill, and I think we're gonna go on this side of the hill. So I know we currently have forestry out this way, but we're gonna completely redo it once we hit level 5. So I think we can kind of curve out like this, and then have a long curve out to about here. And then we have a ton of space to get a cargo station out this way, and then we could even, if we wanted to, have a spur coming off of this so that we get it closer to the ore, or we can just kind of have multiple cargo stations. We could have one over here, so then all the ore has to do is cross the highway. That's not really efficient though, is it? Okay, so let's now figure out how we're gonna do this now, right? So we have 2 roads to cross if we're going to go and connect it up over here. So I'm thinking we elevate over top of this one, but then we follow this road for a little bit, and then we get the rail to go under this road, just to kind of get a bit of variety going. But it just makes sense to go over top of the one that we're about to hit first. So let's kind of curve it around this hill a little bit to about here. I don't know what we're gonna do with this hill, but I'm sure we can figure out something. And then we'll go elevated to about there. All right, so there is a logging truck, and it is very clear, so I think we're good at that height. So now we can slope it all the way back, right? So same idea that we just had before. Let's bring it out to about here. It's probably not gonna be enough. 1.8, technically that's enough, but I think if we bring it all the way to maybe this curve here, that'll get a really good slope. Yeah, that's really nice. Okay. Why are we over there? There we go. Now we're going to go underneath the next road. So let's select our rail, go to topography, figure out how we're going to approach this now, right? So let's swing out this way a little bit. We'll kind of roughly follow the terrain. And then we'll try and use the terrain here to our advantage. But we can definitely raise the road, right? That's okay. We've been sinking it the whole time, so why can't we just raise it too? I think if we go to about here, we should be good. Yeah, let's do about there. All right, let's get out of this view. Let's find a node, this one and this one. They need to be, first of all, at the same height, so we can figure that out. And this road needs to be an elevated road. It doesn't need to be a bridge or anything like that, just elevated. It's not going to be too high off the ground. And then let's grab both of these. Whoops, actually let's start with the road here. Make them both the same height, and then elevate it a little bit. Not too drastic, and then we'll do the same thing with the rails here. And then this one, pretty much roughly, if you get those metal bars to be below the road, you're good on height. So we should be good there. Let's now do some sloping. And then we'll start off with this one being at the same height as that. Perfect. And let's go back to here, and then we'll slope all the way back. We'll look at the topography when doing this, because it's going to be helpful. But for example, this one, it's pretty much going to slope right to here. It just makes sense to kind of end it right there. And at 1.9%, that is really, really good. And we had collision off when we did that. So all the trees that we built over top of are still there. So we can just tweak it like that, and they disappear. Or we could have deleted it too. Either or. All right, so that's really good. I like the earthwork that we have going on. And we should probably get this back to where it was before. There we go, my goodness. And then we can slope the rest. All right, so here we go. We have our rail underneath this road right here. I think that works out really, really nicely. And then it swings all the way out over to here. And I think we're doing a good job at setting up this rail line. I like how it goes through all these trees here. And then we have this connection, and then it gets all the way out to the original Y. All right, so now the next step really in the process is figuring out how it's going to connect up in here, and the highway issue, right? What's gonna happen with the highways? So yeah, what is gonna happen with the highways, Steven? We have a few options, right? So we have to get the rail somehow over or under the highway, and then connecting up into here. I would like it if we could get it into being a four-way kind of rail junction here. That would be real nice, but I'm not the best with that kind of thing, especially because we have another road right here. We can't really do too much, but I want this right of way to be the historical one, and so we need to build around the fact that these rails are there. So I think the best option for us is to build the highway upwards into some sort of kind of viaduct-ish thing. And I mean, that's really cool, really simple to do. All we really need to do is choose a section, and I think we're just going to use this tool here to select the nodes, and we're just going to go from this point here and select all of these nodes. All right, so now we have this ready, the cool viaduct here. It's looking pretty good. There's still a few tweaks on the highway we need to make, but I am planning another interchange down the line here. So probably right around this area. So we can figure out how it all looks beyond that when we do that way down the line. That's unfortunately not coming anytime soon, not in any of the plans at least. But actually this is a pretty good height. I don't think we really need to adjust it at all. Maybe at like the points where the rail actually touches the highway, we can adjust it from there. But yeah, let's figure this out. So I would imagine that we need to get a little higher, because we need to get a crossover. Unless we say that rail traffic from this point here doesn't actually go over here, because this is just going to be a spur. So then we can have that spur kind of connect up just on the the top rail, and we don't need to actually get them to cross, because that would definitely save a lot of time and effort getting to get this one cargo kind of line through here. We could do a bit of a bypass in a way, so that we can have our main connection on the rail, and then we can bypass it under or over the highway in another part, another part of the viaduct. Hope that made sense. I think that's probably the best bet, seeing as we're really restricted for realism 1, and then 2 in actual space. So I think if we kind of just curve off from here, get underneath that one, get underneath this one, and then we find a spot relatively in the middle here. All right, so here we go. Looks like the rails should fit. We might need to raise the highway a little bit just over this junction, but nothing really, there's no pillars in the way, so that's what really matters. Okay, so all right, so let's resume, see all the flying cars. And there we go, look at that. Cool little viaduct. All right, so what's the next step on this railroad connection? Because I think it's looking real good right now. Well, it would be to figure out if we're going to have that connection over top or underneath, which I don't think we necessarily need at the moment. I guess it would be really beneficial to move freight from the farm area up this way if we need to. But I think that's a good challenge to leave for ourselves. We could even kind of have that spur line that I mentioned out over here and have the interchange in between. So out over here, and then we just need the trains to cross from this side to this side track, and then they'll be able to go out over here. So that's a really interesting way to do this, and I think this is what we're going to stick with. All right, because 1, there's other things I need to do in this video, and 2, I think this works exactly how we need it to work for now. Actually, we need to have a few more crossovers. I don't think there's a crossover on this side, no. So let's see, we need to leave a whole train length in between crossovers. So let's go from about here to here and cross tracks, and make sure you're using the straight connection. There you go. And then let's leave another gap to about here to here, and there we go. So now we have multiple ways to cross in this one area, and then trains can then come all the way out over to here and go up the mountain basically. And yeah, this looks really cool. I love this this rail line. It's gonna see a lot of use once we get some cargo stations out this way. which will tie into like our level 5 ore areas, or ore and forestry areas. But that's not necessarily what we need right now. However, there is a cool opportunity that we can get a cargo station right in this pocket right here. So this is an industry zone area. It's kind of our power plant. And we have it all running off of a security gate or a toll booth. So there's a cool opportunity for us to get a train station in this zone, and we can easily get a train station running off of this rail into here. A small cargo station. It'll be really beneficial for Oracle Bay because right now the only cargo station is all the way over here. So having another one over here would be really, really useful. And I think we need to make sure we have a crossover in between this area here and then the train station, so that we have an opportunity for cargo to be shipped from or via this area or via this rail line. So let's find that section, and I would imagine that it doesn't really matter where it is. So why don't we kind of try and place it right in here. All right, so we have two spots that we can really do this on. We have this area right in here, or this area here, and I'm leaning towards this side. I like the angle here. I think that's really, really cool. But we do have this, what's it called? Road maintenance depot, which we can try and tie in, but I don't think it's going to tie in exactly. So I'm just going to temporarily move it inside of here, just so I don't forget about it. Or if I do, it's still there, you know? But let's remove the zoning squares through here. Take off any surface painter that we have. Whoops, that's adding surface painter. All right, so here is our train station. It's going to be right here in Glade Square, which is a district that I just placed down to make sure that we didn't mix industry zoning. So if you have a name for this area, which is kind of the power plant area, but it could be like a municipal hub or something like that. So if you have a name for the municipal hub, that would be real cool. But let's get a cargo train station in, and we could go for like one of our other ones, like that's more for our farming area. But I don't think there's any other cargo terminals, train cargo terminals, except if we go to like the airport's DLC. But we don't have that at all. So we will just stick with the basic cargo train terminal. And we're gonna basically just stick it right off of this road here. We can probably get away with that right there. Yep. So that actually looks really good right there. And we can make sure that what we're going to be doing is cycling the cars and trucks in and out of here efficiently. So we're going to need to redo the road layout in the industry in this zone. So now we have a bit of like a loop, right? So technically this is a 2-lane road because there's going to be services that need to run out this way, but it doesn't actually have to be. So why not? Let's just make it a big giant roundabout. There we go. Because not only there's a ton of traffic in here anyways, and then they'll just have to cycle out. So if there is traffic from these buildings, including the garbage traffic, for example, they can just stick in the left lane and then they can get out this way. But then this road here, this little piece, needs to be a 2-lane road, because this is where we're going to be having our actual operating point. We can go into the building spawn points mod. If you can see, this is where the trucks will come in and out of. We can actually move it around a little bit with that, with this mod. But for example, let's pull it back a little bit, and then, yeah, I mean, that's good. Just gonna try and keep this away from. Let's actually bring it right into there. So we try to keep it away from this intersection here, because this is actually a pretty efficient model here. Since we need the traffic to turn left for geographical reasons for the train station, it just makes sense for us to do it this way. I do not want a crosswalk here. This would be definitely not a crosswalk friendly stop area. But what we should really do is make sure that we have this here go into both lanes, because we might need traffic to cycle around in both directions here. But we need this to go to this lane no matter what. But then this one here, this is only point is right here. I actually don't mind if they cross over because I don't know if the traffic needs to go in that direction. So we can do that. But I would rather not have the cars go straight here, but it doesn't really matter. So, because who's really gonna, what's the coincidence? I don't think there's actually anything zoned on this block, so it doesn't really matter anyways if cars can go straight, but I'll let them do that in case they need to turn around or there's confusion. But then that's where they turn right, and then these cars can turn left into either lane. That's okay. And then this is all good. That's all good. We don't really need to do that. We didn't need to do the red line either, but I think this is going to be really efficient. Oop, except for this one. This one, I don't want to turn left. I want this one to only go straight. So that this is where all the cargo traffic is going to back up into. We have a big loop here that we can back up the traffic. But we need to lock in a few nodes so that I don't want traffic turning at the last second here. So I'm going to say you're locked into your node there. You're locked into your node here. But then this node is the node that you can start choosing your lane, because we're going to have garbage traffic and stuff out this way. That's just going to be a more efficient way to do it. Let's turn off, or let's delete these buildings here, and let's rezone appropriately, because we have a few funky things happening, don't we? Are we too close to that smoke tower? No, we're not. We're good. But then these buildings can be all large industry buildings, so that's pretty cool. All right, so before we hook up the train station here, I forgot about this, but I think this actually looks fine right here, particularly because we have this node right here leading into the backyard of this station. So I think it just makes sense to set it up like that. So yeah, we're good. We're good. We don't really need anything else to do. Now the thing is, though, this area won't have any space for warehouses. So what can we do, really, right? This isn't really going to be that kind of thing. This is just going to be more for efficiency. Like, I don't even think we're going to be able to get a connection from this side. So any traffic, train traffic's coming from this side, is probably going to have to get off over here. So, I mean, we can try and fit it in, but I really don't think we'll be able to squeeze it in. Like, that's a really sharp turn, and we'll try and save ourselves as much space as we possibly can. But yeah, it's looking doubtful that we're going to be able to pull that off. So yeah, we can go to about here. That's as far as we can get. But there's no problem at all connecting up to this side. All right, so this is about as good as I can get it. A single lane track going into the station is fine. Leaving the station, I guess we're not going to be shipping goods out of here in this direction. But if things need to go in that direction, they can still be able to cross over eventually onto here and then go out in that direction. So not 100% efficiency, but like 80% efficiency is pretty good with me. This is just kind of like a secondary station we're just squeezing in. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, those trains would definitely have to go slow going into there, but that is okay. I'm sure there's some realistic explanation for this. I mean, we're squeezing something in for the need of the city. But let's just add a few extra lines on the back side of this rail station here. So let's turn off all our guidelines. And whoa, jumping around the city during an autosave. And I should really make those less frequent. And yes, let's go from about here to here. And we'll just do a couple of these lines. That's pretty good. Let's just line them up properly, and then I'll just use Move It to copy them perfectly. All right, so here we have our quick train station, and hopefully it sees some use, and that was worth it, and it was worth trying to squeeze in that last little line. And you know, I think the rule of thumb is if you can see the train tracks, then it's technically working. So I think this looks good. And I said we weren't going to have any space for warehouses, and look at that, we actually have a ton of space for warehouses. So that is real good. So I have an idea. We have this garbage over here, but this is technically a one-way street, which is totally cool. It's going to work out great. But what if, since we have all this space, what if we just draw a road out this way? We can still have some things off of it. And I think this is going to work. So let's grab our industry road. All right, so what should we have running off of these warehouse buildings? Well, nothing in particular yet, so I'm going to save the larger ones. But it's always good just to get one of these at least going. We'll put it on empty, and you know, a safe bet if you just need something kind of in here is just commercial zone goods. So something simple as that. We are good to go there, and then we can use the other one if we really want. And we can, I think we have a bit of forestry out in Oracle Bay, so we can add in forestry zone products on empty as well. But these two will leave open for when we get a factory in Oracle Bay or something like that, that will have those available. And I think that alone really just fills it out, this area. I think that looks really good, actually. Oh, let's see if this cargo train is gonna take our turn. Oh, it actually might. Oh, holy cow, it is. Okay, let's follow this really quickly. All right, interesting route selection. That is interesting. I don't know why they chose to go that way. Oh, whoa, holy cow. Oh my goodness. Wowza. That is wild. I'll fix that off camera. How about that? Deal? Deal. So that was probably coming from this area here, which is interesting that they didn't go in that direction. So I'll double check that everything is actually hooked up, because it doesn't make sense. Where else could they have been coming from, and why do they need to go out in this direction when they could have just done that. So I'll double check everything off camera and make sure everything is a-okay. Unless I missed it and it actually just came from this station. In which case, fantastic. It means it's working, right? That means that those cranes did exactly what we were thinking they were going to do. We have another one right over here, which I did see leave that station. So yeah, okay. So why don't we say everything is a-okay, except for that funky node. All right, so we were going to do an Amazon fulfillment center as well, kind of improving the cargo capacity of the city, right? So we actually don't have a ton of post offices in this city. It's surprising that I've forgotten to include them in every build, but we have 3. So we should probably add a few more. So we don't have any out over here. We don't really need any out over here, but we really should have a few more. And we have one in Oracle Bay. We should probably get one over on this side. Now, technically, we're in the green over here, which is good, but we should really make sure we have another one. So I think we're going to plop this right. Should we go right on the corner here? How about right here? That sounds cool. Yeah, I think we can probably build up this area a little bit. We can always move this one if we need to. But I think that looks really good in that little corner right there. Maybe we can build up just this little front edge area in this kind of estuary. Okay, so let's go place another one down because that is a really good add. We can now see that all these red buildings are now in the green. But we need one over in this area. Holy cow, we really do. Why don't we place this kind of in our hidden industry pocket area? We could slot it in right in here. I'm sure we could get that to work. But actually, that's not a bad idea to kind of fit it in right there. But I think there's a better spot, and that's like right in this pocket right here for it. So it has to be placed on a road, though. So we're going to have to turn it around. Or we could place it right in this pocket over here where we're going to be taking up an office space. Okay, I found it right here. We'll take out this building, and we'll actually take out most of these ones. We'll just redo the whole block because we're going to need to take out some zoning here, which in turn is going to affect pretty much everything else. So in order to get the best building size possible, we're going to need to take the rest out. So yeah, I think this is gonna work out great, actually. So there we go. Now we have a post office in the shopping area, which is fine. I think that's going to be really efficient for everyone that lives around here and the businesses as well. Looks like we have some buildings that are disappearing. I like those ones, so we're going to reset them. There we go. And look at that. The buildings are already reappearing. And we have a large building on this side, which is good. We might need to flip that around if things don't look good in the end. But I think it's good now. Let's check our post office capacity in this area. Yeah, great. So swinging out over to here, we have one out over on this side. So we don't need any more. Looks like these buildings are in the red because the post office is stretched to its max capacity. So we should probably get one in the market area and then maybe one closer to downtown. So we have one over here. Let's get one in this little pocket by Market Station. How about that? I bet we could get it to look real nice on the road here. Yeah, why don't we do the same thing we did with Market Station and delete a few of these buildings here, and then get this post office on this corner. We could actually put it right here on T Drive. That way the spawn point for the post office and stuff like that, they're all on T Drive and not 2nd Street or 4th Street or something. So let's move all of these items over with the building spawn points mod. So this is the post. Now they're going to be further away from the intersection, which is nice. All right, so now we can take out all of these and these, and then we can turn this into commercial. We have some good commercial demand. Actually, you know what? Let's make this a condo. This is actually fantastic. So this building here, I needed a building that was technically smaller than 4x3, so that we had more concrete space because it just made sense. So this kind of old 1960s style apartment works out fantastically right here. Kind of shows the early transition into this area, probably. We can definitely work with this. And then we have this cute little wine and liquor shop, which is fantastic. I love the frontage of it right there. Now it's kind of recessed back into the exact kind of pocket that is left behind with the post office. That works great. And then we'll get these residential buildings back in no time, and they'll level up real quick. Okay, so post office again. Let's see the next slot we need to include. So I mean, yeah, really good over here. I think we just need one kind of, yeah, one right over here. There's a bit of gray in that area, but I think this, if we find like a main street in here, that would be great. How about like right in this little pocket right here? I guess we can't really go onto the street. We could actually put it in this zone here. That would kind of make sense for the area. Yeah, we could slot it right in this zone. So that's a bus depot, actually, that we've been hiding. It actually works out fine with the parking lots. But yeah, why don't we take out this building here? I know this building's been here for a little while, but that's a really good spot for the post office building, I think. It could slot in perfectly. It's not really on the right corner, though. I guess a better slot would be kind of in here, where that commercial building is. That actually works out great, actually. When I built this one, I think I built this off camera. I wasn't really set on that building, so we can delete it. That's okay. We'll take out this, and then we can get the post office right in here. And I think this is a good spot because hiding the post office in a residential area, well, it works, and I can definitely see it being realistic. Having this be all residential is and was the main focus of this kind of pocket. We should probably find a little pocket of commercial actually in this zone because it's a lot of green. So why don't we use this right here, and we'll delete these houses. It's okay, I actually don't mind having multiple post offices. This area is only going to continue to grow. I think that's just beneficial, right? But we need to get an Amazon fulfillment center, which is basically just the post sorting facility, but with a few other touches. So I'm looking at this corner right in here. This is probably the best spot for it. Let's take out the trees and then let's build ourselves a fulfillment center. All right, so the main access point is going to be off of Tyler Street here, which should be a numbered street. It's 14th Street. That number didn't make it across. So I'll run off of 14th Street. This will be the main kind of road, and then we'll have the only connection over top of the highway is going to be this one here. But then we also have the connection over top of here too, which works out great. We could actually continue this over top of the highway too. I actually don't mind that. It's probably best if we do for traffic flow, because having all the traffic into this area run off of just this sounds troubling. But we do have two strong connections. This one's really busy too. This one's just going to get busier, so it's probably best if we try and include this as a bridge or a tunnel. Actually, why don't we do a tunnel? Yeah, let's do a tunnel. That's really cool. We haven't done that. Actually, we're sinking here, so bridge actually makes more sense, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I mean, either way, it's going to be good. So we're actually going to have the turnoff come from this road here. I just don't see it really actually working from 14th Street that well. So we're going to have the main entrance onto here. And why don't we just continue using this road? So let's find a good little point of entry. We'll use this one here. Actually, let's go right about there. Make a new node. Yeah, I think this is a good angle to have for us. Doesn't really need to be lined up with anything in particular. So let's have this road come into about here. And let's see the buildings that we actually want to place in. Let's figure out how they're going to line up. So I want to have not one, but two of these. And then I also want a large warehouse, or a medium warehouse at least. I think the large one might not technically fit. So we'll get one of these guys out over here. Let's try the large one first, though. Let's see if we can actually get it to work. Because this would be wonderful, because this is what really makes it look like a Amazon fulfillment center, right? This massive building. So let's see if we can get it a bit lower. There we go. Actually, to terrain height would be a good way to do it. And then if we just grab it with move it again, we can slide it right into position off of the highway here. Just like that or something. Tilt it a little bit, squeeze it right in here. This is fantastic. I'm sure there's like a big sign right here, Amazon, or something along the lines. Okay, and then let's see if we can shift this road or this in here at all either. See, move it. Let's see if we can grab this, bring it back into here. So I guess the trucks really need to have space to turn around like that, so I can't just squeeze it in like that. So we're gonna have to rotate it like this or something. Back into here. That's still pretty tight. Let's see, this one's clearly gonna fit right here. We could probably do the same thing for this one too. All right, so we have this over here. We have a sneaky connection to the highway too for all these trucks, but just a quick little on-ramp. This will be really helpful for any post trucks that are moving around the city as well. But yeah, I really like how this has turned out. We have two sorting facilities as well. Maybe it's like Pure Later and FedEx. We also have these over here, which work, or this over here, which works out great to kind of spread out the traffic flow. Though I'm going to make both of these dedicated lefts so that there is no left over here. Sorry, wrong way. So we have both sides on this one, and then this one is only one because I don't want traffic sneaking right here and clogging up this node. This needs to just be basically situated like this. There you go. Perfect. And then there's no way in, so this is the only kind of in area. So we could have made this like a toll booth, which could be cool, but that's okay. We don't need to do that necessarily, but I'm really thinking that could be cool. So we'll see if I do that off camera. But we have a bunch of space here for some other buildings as well. So if we turn zoning off, we have a lot of space through here to kind of fill up with like warehouses and stuff like that too. So this will be really efficient space for other things, including like some offices and whatnot too. That's always good. But it's good to have this cargo space, right? Particularly the way that we play with cramming in industry buildings into realistic scenarios and stuff like that. We really clog up our road networks on purpose. So yeah, I think it's worth it in the end though. Let's turn off zoning through here, and I think this kind of slot is a really good spot to get some offices or something like that as well, something like that, and then like so. Actually, I think like an industry zone could work really nicely right here, or maybe parking out this way instead. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so here we have it. We have the fulfillment center all done, and yeah, there is a ton of traffic. So we might need to sort out this down the line, maybe make some sneaky paths, but there's going to be a lot of traffic flowing from here into here for a little while. So we're gonna definitely need to watch this in the future, that's for sure. But I think it's really important to get this out over here. We could improve the roads, for example, into like 6-lane roads. That would probably help at least, right? So let's do that really quickly. Simple enough. And then this one needs to be a 3+2 because we need 2 lanes only exiting onto the roundabout. So we can do something like, whoops, like this. There we go. So that we have dedicated turning lanes onto here and then continuing straight through here too. So yeah, I think this is good. What is going on here? We need this one to go to there, and these two are gonna go like this. Just make sure that we are all on the same page here. This is looking a little funky is all. But yeah, I think this is good, folks. It's looking neat. At least we have a ton of cargo capacity. We're increasing the cargo capacity of the city, right? That was the main purpose of this build. And looks like there's a bit of a backup through here, so we're gonna need to watch that. It looks like it's to do with the light here. Okay, so we're gonna need to take this light out, which I left here just in case, but we can make that a yield, and that should really solve the traffic right there. As simple as that, really. Looks like a lot of posts is actually going to the cargo station over here and then cycling back. So we'll need to watch that traffic flow. We might need to make like a sneaky connection or something like that underneath here, or something along those lines. Like from here we can sneak a connection right up into this node, for example. That's actually a really good idea. We'll see if that actually works or not. But yeah, Amazon Fulfillment Center, quick little build, but we increased the cargo capacity of the city, so that's going to be what the thumbnail is going to be about. So I think something like this is a good thumbnail here. So have a wonderful day, folks. We'll talk soon on Friday. Peace out.